Today is Easter Monday, and I have my third night shift at the emergency room. Basically, we are there from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. and as medical students, our job is really just to help out the staff and to take a load off. I'll be honest though, usually nights aren't as busy as the daytime shifts are. So oftentimes, or at least the last 2 night shifts I've had, haven't been the most exciting or even how should I say? Well, we didn't have that much to do. So I'm curious to see how it goes today. Yesterday I was there during the daytime, Easter Sunday, and there was an abnormally large amount of patients coming with all kinds of problems. Some of them minor, which was a surprise because really you would imagine that on a holiday people would rather stay home than sit for hours in a waiting room, but much to our surprise, that's what happened. So I can't really film in the hospital, and I'm not there yet anyway, but my idea was that I would kind of update you as the night goes along and see if we can't make this an exciting night shift. So the shifts are from 7 to 7, and we have to be there ready and changed by 6:45 because that's usually when the day shift transfers patient care to the night shift and vice versa. And usually the doctor in charge of that shift, I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like a shift leader, says a few words. And this is especially important right now in the time of the coronavirus because protocols are changing every single day. So they'll update us on what we're doing differently today than they were doing yesterday. And yes, so at 6:45 we're changed and ready to go, and my hope is that I'll be there on time today because yesterday I was late. I didn't factor in that transportation slows down on holidays, and so I had to take an alternative route, which took me a bit longer. But anyway, I should be there, I think, on time today. Had the first patient arrive, brought in by the ambulance because her condition had deteriorated and she was unable to communicate with the family. So that was interesting, and now I'm going to grab my stuff from the room that I forgot, especially my pens. Right as I'm going back, the ambulance is arriving, perfectly timed. It takes a few minutes to do the administration, and the patient, before they come to me at triage, they have to go through the pre-triage phase, at which point we decide if they're infectious or not. Two more patients came, an elderly lady who yesterday started hallucinating insects and snakes, and a middle-aged woman who had some sort of insect bite. 1:30 in the morning. Things have chilled a little bit. Our last patient came about 25 minutes ago with nothing too acute, and so I got myself an apple and a little bit of a snack, and now I'm gonna grab my laptop. So it's morning, 7:24 in the morning, and it's been a really, I wouldn't say exciting is the right word, but it's been a very busy evening, or night shift I should say, compared to how my previous night shifts have been. There were not a ton of patients, but enough that we almost always had something to do, and if we sat down to take a rest or chat a little bit, then it was just perfectly timed in between patients. So it's really great. There were a few cases that were interesting, and also a few that raised some unique problems, which reminded me of why I like emergency medicine so much. A patient came in who was a foreigner here in the country, and he didn't speak the local language, but he did speak Romanian. And so using Google Translate and my knowledge of Spanish, we managed to get a superficial patient history, presenting complaints, allergies, such and such. And it was a nice challenge to try to work through some of the barriers of communication with this patient, and he was very amicable despite his abdominal pain. So it was nice. There was another patient, 32 weeks pregnant, who came also with abdominal pain and diarrhea and nausea and vomiting. So that was interesting, and even though I don't want to be an OBGYN doctor, I think it's cool that I get to see, or would get to see, a lot of each of these cases in emergency medicine. So yeah, it was a really nice night. I stayed a little bit late because we got a phone call from an English speaker who had questions about how to get in touch with emergency care during this coronavirus period. So I was just trying to talk him through what he should do and what his options were. And a lot of people at the hospital don't speak English, so at least I come in handy in that sense.